We have 7 more days until the NBA gets back underway. 7. I can't wait. Honestly, like, I've been waiting to make content for weeks now. It's just been so slow that, to be completely honest, in between doing content and doing everything else that I'm sort of doing at home at the moment, it was to be my best interest to get that other stuff out of the way. So for when the season comes in a week's time, I will be able to contribute everything to that. Daily uploads will be coming. There will be daily long form videos, daily short form videos, recaps of the day's games. There will be everything. I can promise you. It is just because these last couple of weeks, other than pre-season, because obviously I've been watching a little bit of pre-season and I've gotten some takeaways from it, but not too many. I just kind of haven't gone there. I might make a video in the next couple of days sort of talking about the couple of things that I have seen from pre-season that might actually make a big difference in the league this year. But other than that, that's all I really have. I've got that, and I want to do an NBA awards video because that was the other predictions that I had to get out of the way. Obviously, I've already got the team predictions out of the way, so I've got that to do. And that's the last thing I have to do before the season starts. But for right now, I'm going to do a quiz. You guys are just going to sit back, relax, and watch me do a quiz. I'm just going to click on... Sporcle has a random NBA quizzes filter. I'm going to go off that. If I have to click it once and I find a good quiz straight away, that is awesome. We will be doing that quiz straight away. But if it takes a couple of clicks, it takes a couple of clicks. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into it. So this is what I'm going to be doing. So random NBA quiz. I'm just going to click this one a few times, see what comes up. Hopefully, best case scenario, I get a quiz that feels necessary to do first time. But also, if it doesn't happen that way, we're just going to click again. So after the first click, it's going to give us, can you name all of the teams of the national? Naming each team will reveal the team's logo. This, to me, really doesn't make... So if I click... What's that team? Is that just like the Phoenix Suns logo? Oh, it's literally just naming all 30 NBA teams. We're not going to do that one. We're going to spin that again. Oh my God, Sporcle has a lot of ads these days. 1991 NBA playoff rosters. Not today. That 1991 is... Slightly behind my area of knowledge, born in 2005. So, NBA top 250 points per game in a season. This one I think we can do. I reckon this one is a good one to do. Obviously, there's a lot of inflation in scoring and that sort of thing. I'm going to get rid of as much ads as I humanly can because shout out to Sporcle trying to get their money, but... There is a lot of ads on the screen at the moment. Rightio, so it's got me 20 minutes and I've got a 250 score. There is a lot of individuals that could be on this list. Like a lot. So without further ado, obviously I'm going to cut it down because 20 minutes is a really long time. So I'm going to cut it down as much as I can for you guys in the video. But without further ado, like I'm going to get underway. I'm just going to get all the easy ones out of the way. So you've got your Will Chamberlains, who is going to absolutely dominate that roster. LeBron James is going to have done it. Kobe Bryant would have done it. Michael Jordan would have done it. Abdul-Jabbar would have done it. El Sindor, would he have done it in his other name? No, he wouldn't have. Okay. Olajuwon. What? This is always my biggest problem with Sporcle quizzes, is that my spelling is usually pretty mediocre, which doesn't help. Especially when you're trying to think as fast as you can and try and just get out names as quickly as you can. It proves to be quite the task. Obviously, we're already at 55, so we're getting along pretty well. Early doors... We got Robinson, David Robinson will be on that list a few times. Robinson, not Sin. Duncan will be on the list. Tim Duncan never top scored. in a season. Wow. Well, you could try like your Tony Parkers of the world. No. Scottie Pippen might be what? Scottie Pippen isn't one. Wow, this is actually becoming quite difficult. Why can I just not think of bucket getters? Like, I can do Antetokounmpo. Is that how you spell it? I can never spell it correct. Tell me autocorrect does it for me. There we go. Autocorrect started to do it for me. Gilgeous Alexander. Is autocorrect going to do it for me again? No, it doesn't. Far out. Okay. Shay did it though, although I don't know, because Shay would definitely be on this list, but when was this quiz created? This was last updated in 2021. So all of my recent basketball knowledge has just completely gone out the window. John Wall might have one. No. Bradley Beal might have one. There we go. Bradley Beal's got a couple from when he was scoring back on the Wizards. I got to start going back in time. So I'm going to do like a Jerry Lucas. Jerry Lucas isn't even on there. Havlicek. There we go. George Mikan, is he old? He is on the list. Unsold might actually be on the list. Where's Unsold? He's not on the list. Other notable scorers, we've got Elgin Baylor scored a hell of a lot of points back in his day. Wowee. I'm forgetting like your Iversons. Iverson's there a few times. I feel like I'm forgetting one really big star. Is there like a Magic Johnson in there somewhere? There's no Magic Johnsons anywhere. Let's just start from the start. If I go all the way back from the start, I'm trying to think of scorers from the start. So was Bob Cousy there at any point? No. Bill Russell wasn't a scorer, but he might know. Who was other players sort of playing in that era? I'm thinking 70s, 80s. George Gervin might be on here a few times. There we go. Irving. Both Irvings are on there. Beautiful. Who else would be sort of done up? I'm trying to think of sort of 1 year wonders, because there is a Westbrook would be on this list. Oh, West was on the list. Jerry West, of course. I can't believe I've actually forgotten Jerry West, to be completely honest. Westbrook will be on the list. I'm forgetting the best scorer of our era in James Harden, who's on the list 6 times. That makes it really easy for me. A lot of scorers around that sort of time. There wasn't many scorers, and I'm thinking because of the inflation in the sport, in the scoring these days, is that there will be modern day players on this list a lot more than there is. Like, is Embiid is on the list? Is Jokic on the list? No Jokic on the list. Durant is a big one that I'm forgetting. James Harden was on that list. Who else was coming? Who else came off these? Like, is there a Danny Granger year anywhere? There's no Danny Granger. Roy Hibbert. Why am I thinking of Pacers legends? I don't know. O'Neal, of course. Jesus. That's another big miss by me. Was there like a Derek Fisher year? No, there wasn't. Early 2010, there's going to be some Nowitzki on this list. He's on there a couple of times. There's going to be... Is there like a Jason Kidd season? Steve Nash was an MVP. Wasn't even on that list. Stoudemire... I'm shocking at this spell. I couldn't even tell you if I've spelled his name correctly, to be honest. Is there a World B Free? There you go. World B Free. Like, there's just some players that otherwise I could never think of. Let's chuck the name Smith in there. There's no Smiths. I got to think early 2000s. Is there like a Garnett sort of year? Nope, no Garnett year. Garnett was a defensive-minded Paul Pierce would be on the list somewhere. Ray Allen might be on the list. Reggie Miller. You just got to think of the shooters. Damian Lillard will be on this list a couple of times. If I could spell his name. There we go. I'm about halfway through. And I need to be more than halfway. If I can get to about 180, I think I'm going to be happy. Early 2000s. Bucket getters in the early 2000s sort of became few and far between. Outside of your Kobe's and your Shaqs. Your Dwayne Wade, obviously. A couple of Heat legends. Chris Bosh might be on the list. Grady might be on the list for that year in Magic colours. There we go. Was there a Vince Carter year? There is a Vince Carter year in there. There you go. There's a lot to go through on. I just can't think of names off the top of my head. Some of the all-time scorers. Karl Malone will be on this list a million times. He's on the list 11 times. Don't like Karl Malone. Let me put that straight on the record before I get any further as an NBA content creator. But he's going to be on the list. So just swallow my pride, put it on the list, and we're going to move on. No Kenny the Jet Smith, sort of 90s players going into the 2000s. You got like your Penny Hardaways. Not on the list. Richardson. No. Was there a year that Monte Ellis just went off for no reason? Dale Ellis. There you go. Even better. Which gives me Sean Kemp because of no. Was Gary Payton scoring the ball one year? No, he wasn't. There's a Dale Ellis. I'm trying to think of 2K cards. It's the weirdest thing to be doing right now, but I'm trying to think of 2K cards because I've got some like niche 2K cards. Willis, no. There's like Ben Wallace was a defender, but Thomas. Oh my God, Thomas. Isaiah Thomas, thank you. That year in the Celtics, of course. I don't know how I could ever forget that. Next up, what was I on the wavelength of? For some reason, I'm on the wavelength of the Detroit Pistons. That gives me Chauncey Billups. Surely that's how you spell Chauncey Billups. But there's Joe Dumars is another player who might... Joe Dumars was not on this list. Grant Hill, maybe? No, Grant Hill. Anthony is another player that I'm thinking of. Patrick Ewing is another player that I'm thinking of. There is a lot of players. I'm trying to think of niche sort of players because there's obviously players that have had really good scoring years and then done absolutely nothing since. I'm just trying to filter them out. I just need to go sort of team from team. Like Warriors history. Is there like a Baron Davis in here somewhere? There is a Baron Davis or some sort of Davis. Anyway. A Rick Barry maybe. There we go. Rick Barry was the 35. There we go. Alright. Team by team. It's the way to do it. Denver Nuggets. I did Jokic. Jokic wasn't on the list. Carmelo Anthony was another one. I'm seeing English. There we go, Alex English. Oh, yes, that's a good pull. Another player. Who can I think of? Gonna skip teams, go the Blazers. There's teams like Bill Walton. No, Bill Walton. Are we serious? Is either Sabonis on here? Oh, I've just done it all caps. Sabonis. No, Sabonis's. Clyde the Glide. Drexler. There we go. Clyde the Glide. That's another good one. Team by team, let's keep it moving. OKC, there's not a ton of history there other than James Durant, Westbrook. Shea's doing it now, but he won't be on the list. Anyone doing it sort of before Shea? I feel like there's someone on that list from like the years that OKC weren't that good. But I can't think of any off the top of my head. Rocket, is there like a Chris Paul year? No, there's not. Okay. I just said Aldridge. There we go. Oh my God. It's not LaMarcus Aldridge either. Derrick Rose is a name that I haven't thought of. Bulls history, I reckon I could go quite far into. Like a Taj Gibson... No. Lowell Deng, no. Is there any, like, Tyson Chandler on here? No Tyson Chandler. Lakers, I got to go into, like, Lakers and Celtics. So, like, Tatum might have done it. Tatum did it. Brown might have done it. Brown never did it. Before then, the Celtics looked like Pierce, Allen, Garnett. Rondo was never a scorer. Kendrick Perkins was never a scorer. I didn't really have many scorers in the early 2000s other than those guys. I can't think of any sort of during that timeline. The Detroit Pistons, obviously, they won that championship, but I can't think of any scorers that were on that roster other than Chauncey Billups. There is going to be some big names that I've missed, I have a feeling, but I just can't really come to terms with some of those players. Is there like a DeMar DeRozan year? There is a DeMar DeRozan year. There we go. A Kawhi Leonard year before. Yep, thank you. A couple of good Spurs in there. I've done the Toronto Raptors. I've done Spurs, Pacers, Hornets. We've got like, is there a Kemba Walker year? There is no Kemba Walker year. That's actually really interesting to me. No Giannis. I've done the sort of the Bucks. There was Michael Redd might be a good pull. Michael Redd is an amazing pull. There we go. Early Bucks. Obviously your Kareems was a big one. Magic Johnson's. Is there a big game James Worthy year? I don't think there would be. No, there's not. Is there like a Jimmy Butler year? I feel like there's a Jimmy Butler in this. There's no Jimmy Butler. That's actually... Is there a Carlos Boozer year? No, there's not. Why can't I think of like any scoring... I can't think of any scoring champs because I feel like LeBron's just the scoring champ over and over and he's just taken like the reins in a lot of these categories for sort of my knowledge of the timeline. Continuing on... Other teams that I can think of. I'm sort of going out east. Knicks history I sort of touched on. Is there a Doncic year in here? There is a Luka Doncic year. There you go. I got my Dirk. Knicks, Nets. Is there any Nets history? There's no way there's any Brooklyn Nets history other than KD and Kyrie and James. You got all your passes during that time, your Jason Kidds of the world, your Darren Williams of the world. There's going to be no one in there. Is there any other score? Is there like a Klay Thompson year? There's a David Thompson. Not a Klay Thompson, but a David. I will take that and run. World Be Free, sort of Frazier, talking about, no Walt Frazier. Deb Bush. It's spelled something like that. Dave DeBuscher might be in there. He might not be in there. I can't really think. 2.5 minutes to go, and I'm sort of where I wanted to be, which is quite nice. Can I think of any sort of more names that I'm missing? I feel like I'm missing a couple of stars. And if you guys are seeing it right now and screaming at me, I apologize. I am trying my absolute hardest. I just can't get some of these names out of my brain for some reason. Oh, just pure bucket getters. Even if there was just like a season of them. Just thinking single season minded. I can't remember a year in which someone in a season fully took over. The 2000s is a hard one, man, because there was a lot of San Antonio Spurs, but other than Kawhi Leonard, there was nothing on there. And it really throws you out a fair bit. Early 2000s, there was a lot of Lakers, there was some Celtics, some Heat, some Pistons. Is there a David West year? No. No David West year. I'm running out of time and I don't think I'm going to think of anybody else while I'm sort of sitting here. If I go into the 90s quickly, I can think of your Hakeem's, your Piston. There won't be a Bill Laimbeer year, but it was worth a try. Scorers sort of around that era. I've got your Birds and your Johnsons. I think I'm done. I don't think I can think of anybody else really off the top of my head. 173. It's a pretty good score. I will take it. It's just time to kick myself. It is time to kick myself. McAdoo, Archibald, Bernard King's a big miss. Big O is another one that I should have got. Bob Pettit. Pistol Pete is another one. Dominique's one I should have gotten. For sure I should have gotten. Trey Young had a 29 point per game season. Charles Barkley's a big miss. I apologise. Charles Paul George, Oscar Robinson, Alvin Hayes. I'm reasonably happy with that result. Obviously, I missed out on a lot of the older players because studying sort of the older games of basketball is something that I'm doing slowly over time. Obviously, as I said, I was born in 2005. So, to be completely honest, I've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to like learning NBA as a whole. When back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, even the 60s. Like, I've got a couple of names that I know that I just have in my head, but I just don't know too much sort of about them. So that's the thing that I'm slowly backtracking on as an NBA fan, but also keeping up with the future. So it's a lot to take in. Like, it's a lot to get in my head. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I actually really enjoyed making it. So if you guys enjoyed that, that will be awesome. I apologize, firstly, about the last video that I did. I recorded the whole video and realized that my microphone, instead of being here where it usually is, it was all the way over here. That's why the microphone sounds like it was in another room to me. I just already put quite a bit of effort into that video that I really didn't want to just like push it to the side and not post it. So I posted anyway, but this one's much better. The microphone's back. The microphone's here for a reason, so sorry about that. But without further ado, thank you guys so much. If you guys were screaming at me through the camera the whole time watching this, I apologize. But it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun for me. It's a bit of fun for you guys, and just hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back in a couple of days, as I said, with either the preseason video or the awards video. Whichever one I decide to do first, I'm not too sure of yet, but I will get to it. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you then. Thank you, guys.